What's up, everybody? Welcome to our newest show on Love You Hard TV called In Motion. Wanted to do a little something different, bring everybody's eyes and ears over to a subject that's probably, is near and dear to me because I love this city and I love the kids in it and want to talk to them on this show. What we'll be doing is talking to them about an option, the best option, depending on who you ask in the city. So no further ado, I'll introduce the man of this hour, Mr. Mark Reed. How you doing, Mark?
I'm good, man. Appreciate you having me.
No doubt. So tell the people a little bit about who you are, where you are, what y'all doing over at Strength in Motion, which I've known about forever. I've seen it. We met and, you kind of gave me more details, but let the people know who you are, what you're doing, and what this show's about.
Okay, so I'm Mark Reed. I'm one of the co-founders of Strength in Motion. We are a post-grad basketball academy located here in San Antonio, man. Okay. We are going into our 9th year. I seen you at the Final Four, man, and we've been kind of moving in silence. But now we're ready to really open our doors to the city as a great option, for these young men that want to continue on playing basketball after that last high school horn goes off. So
post-grad, so this is after high school and before you actually go to a university? Is that how it works?
Yeah. So the NCAA gives you a gap year, basically, where you get 365 days from the day you graduate to do whatever. There's some people that go on religious trips.
Right, I've seen that.
Like your Mormons, they do their 2 years thing. They get 2, that they're an exception. But you have kids that travel, kids that have to, work to earn money to go to school. So you have that year, man. And in our lane, within that year, we're able to play, a very competitive national schedule. Mm-hmm. We play some of the top JUCOs in Texas. Throughout the United States as well. Just giving these young men an opportunity to be seen, to be recruited, and to see what they're really up against. Sometimes you get locked into your zip code. I'm the best in the 210. What does that equate to when you get to,
That means something, though, no?
It does. Most definitely it does, but.
We're talking basketball, by the way.
Basketball. Yeah, right. Definitely. It does, but at the same time, man, it's so many young men and women that are chasing this dream now where, you have the opportunity to make generational wealth in college.
I know.
So it's a different ball game, man. And so being the best in San Antonio is great. But how do you match up with the best in Houston, the best in Dallas, the best in New York, the best
Chicago, wherever,
the best in Italy, the best in China?
See, you threw the international in there, yes. Which is a real thing.
Yes.
Which is a real thing. Now, so we talked a little bit, like I said, we've been moving in silence. Tell the people why you feel like this is not only a great option, speaking of Strength in Motion, but why it may be a better route to go for somebody that just finished high school, maybe didn't get recruited, maybe didn't got the grades, whatever the situation may be.
So right now, if you look at it, the national champion, their average age was 24 years old.
Florida's average was 20. I know Auburn had a bunch of kids that were older too.
Auburn was probably right around that same age bracket. But the overall Division I average, and if you can look it up, it's 22, I think, in 3 or 4 months, right? 22 years old, 3 or 4 months, right? So there's in that equation, there's very few 18-year-olds, right? And so there's a lot of different ways that people are trying to get their kids older. There's the reclass, of course. That's an option. You can go.
We're going to do a show on reclass. We're not going to do that today. I want to stay on topic, but we're going to talk about reclass. But go ahead.
It's
Go ahead.
Each his own, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
But like right now, you almost have to do that. You know what I mean? Because, your skill set can be one that have an elite skill set. But if you're 18, you really haven't grown into your body hasn't physically developed, and you have to play against a 24-year-old, he's a grown man.
It's a 5-year difference. Everything's
huge.
Different.
Mentally, you know what I mean? Hopefully by 24, you're understanding what it takes. You're eating right, you're sleeping right, you're hydrating, you're stretching. You're focused on what you're really trying to do. I would hope is better than the 18-year-old. You have your exceptions to every rule, but overall, it's you got to be prepared for that. And so that's kind of why we started what we started.
So you started this 9 years ago.
9 years ago.
And when you first, what do you feel like y'all's biggest growth has been within that 9-year period? Is it the amount of kids? Is it the amount of kids that y'all have gotten to go to school? What do you feel like the biggest growth spurt y'all have had within that 9 years would be?
I mean, I really want to say we've been steady,
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
We've been steady on what we've been doing. We had a plan in place before we started, and we've really stuck to that plan, and so going into year 9, we have over $2 million in scholarships awarded to our guys.
$2 million in scholarships in that 9-year period.
In 8 years, going into 9.
So 8.
8 years, $2 million worth of scholarships, man. And coming into our program, we never had a kid that had more than a partial, maybe a JUCO offer or NAIA offer. And so in this 8 years, we have a young man in the NBA. He never played high school, never played AAU. He came to our program. He left, was able to play junior college for 3 years because of COVID. And now he's, in the NBA. A couple 10-day contracts with the Cavs.
Give his name. Who we talking about?
Naquan Tomlin, man. I don't want to jump on that brother's back, man. But,
No, you're not. It's a fact. You're not jumping on his back. Yeah. I know. See, Mark is like, hey, y'all, I don't want y'all to make it seem like I'm trying to, get any clout off of him. But if it's a fact, if he came through your program, he came through your program.
So, but I'll use him. He's a success story as far as basketball. He got to the ultimate level. But we also have young men that were international that are playing overseas at the highest level. We have some kids that are graduating that are going to have opportunity to go overseas. But then we have other young men that just use school to go to school for free.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's cool if you get overseas. It's great. Let me rephrase that. It's great you get overseas. It's crazy if you get to the NBA. But a debt-free degree,
yes,
isn't that the ultimate? Isn't that y'all's ultimate goal?
Yeah, that's the mission.
Right.
That's the mission. Starting life, not owing Sally Mae. That's one of our slogans.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, we say 500 makes a day, keep Sally Mae away.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who she is, you're blessed. You're blessed.
I hear you. So tell me a little bit about playing ball as far as college goes, because you'll have the kid that's like kind of discouraged if he only gets a JUCO offer, kind of discouraged if he only gets a D3, D2. D1, every kid that's playing AAU basketball right now, year round, parents spending thousands and thousands of dollars a year. If they don't hear those two, D1, they feel like it's not. I didn't make it. Do you get that sense amongst the kids in the basketball community?
Man, most definitely. Most definitely. I think if you're serious about this, you put your mind, your body, through so much, trying to accomplish that. I want to play on TV. I want to go to the NCAA tournament. I want the
NIL money.
I want that NIL money now. You know what I mean? But, man, it's truly a blessing on any level to continue to be able to play basketball after high school. Any level, man, where it's just so much that goes into it, man. The network, you know what I mean? Who you get to meet playing basketball. Those are genuine relationships. We're in the foxhole together. Now we're playing basketball, but you become a doctor. I don't have insurance. Hey, man, I just tore my rotator cuff, man. I need that favor from that one time you was drunk and I had to drive you home.
Yeah, I mean? No, so seriously,
It comes back where, it's a blessing, man, just to continue to elevate because, maybe you have to go D3 your first year, but we call it the matrix. You got to get in the matrix. Right. You know what I mean? Like once you're in the matrix, you can move around a lot easier than getting in, right? So you go D3, maybe you are a D1 player, but there just wasn't opportunity for you that year.
Cam Ward.
There you go.
Yeah.
But you have an outstanding year at a D3. You hop in the portal, And then maybe, man, that was just D3, and only a D2 gives you an opportunity, right? And then you go kill at a D2, right? And then you do the same thing, and so like everything now in the climate we're in with this, like everything is really junior college. You know what I mean? If you really look at it, except the only difference is if you go straight to a university, you have a 4-year cushion, but you can transfer every year those 4 years.
Does JUCO count against your eligibility?
Yes.
Okay, it does. Okay,
yes.
Gotcha.
But it's the same situation. If you're a full qualifier, you can go to JUCO for 1 year, go to university. Or you can go to a JUCO 1 year, go to another JUCO. Or, you can move. And so everyone's moving, man. Like you have guys that are at Division I's hopping in the portal.
I think Baylor doesn't have anybody.
No, they left.
Everybody left from Baylor. Right?
And they had a great year. Some of the guys, averaged 10 to 12 points, and they went on to greener pastures, man. It's your, like right now, it's basically, if you're on the Division I level, man, it's basically you're signing a 1-year contract, right?
Yeah,
it's not, it's
a bunch of 1-year deals.
Yeah, it's a 1-year deal, man. There are some kids, I think Duke may be one of the only schools in the country that didn't have a kid jump in the portal.
Really?
Yes.
Nice. Didn't know that.
Yes. I don't know if that's a fact, if they're the only one, but I know they're one of the only majors that didn't have kids hop in the portal.
I'll bring it back to, again, my man Mark Reed, Strength in Motion, show's called In Motion. Get used to it. Going to be doing about twice a month. Keep y'all posted. I want to go back to why Strength in Motion is a great option. When I hear guys like Rick Pitino, John Calipari, just on the basketball side say, I'm sorry, parents out there, but I'm not. I mean, even if you go on the football side, Deion doesn't really give away that many high school scholarships. I'm sorry, but I'm not recruiting anybody out of high school. I'm losing this guy and that guy. They're 22 and 23 years old. A kid out of high school can't replace him. Talk about that. And if that's just those two coaches that said it out loud, there's probably 100 more that feel the same way. I mean, they're not all in that position of Pitino and Calipari, but when we're talking about Strength in Motion, why it's a great option, that's one of the huge reasons. A lot of these coaches just can't, if they're trying to compete and keep their job, can't take the kid out of high school.
And that's what they're doing. It's we live in a, what can you do for me right now? Today. Not how good is this kid going to be in 3 years?
Right.
These college coaches don't have that time frame. Calipari and Pitino, they have a little more leadway.
They can do that, right.
Than others, but still, if they're taking a high school kid, he's a one and done. Or he's a projected one and done. They're not taking a kid that's not a McDonald's All-American or, a top 25 kid in the country. They're like, doesn't happen. And so like for us, man, it's such a transition from high school to college. Physicality, shot clock,
just life,
details. In San Antonio, I think our high school coaches, they're doing a solid job, man. But at the end of the day, and I say this with all due respect, they're judged on the STAR test.
What do you mean? Oh, you mean like, is he a 3-star? Is he a 4-star? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the coaches.
Oh.
They're not judged on wins and losses, how many kids they put in college. Man, at the end of the day, if you don't wreck the bus and the kids, whatever class you're teaching, the longest they're passing what they need to pass as far academically with a STAR test or whatever it may be, that's kind of how they're judged. There are some coaches who, put more into it than others, but they're getting a stipend. They're teachers.
Yeah, they still teach it if it's not
they're
private.
Teachers.
Right.
Yeah, they're teachers and then coaches. Their job is teaching, stipend is coaching. Now you're going into a situation where, I make $7 million a year, right? My money is based on every decision you make we'll say at 18 if you're a freshman, as an 18-year-old, every decision you make on and off the court.
Damn.
They're not ready for that. You're not mentally ready for that, where if this coach doesn't win, he loses $7 million. You know,
got to uproot the family.
It's a lot. It's a lot. You know, it's a business now. It's not.
So do I put that in an 18-year-old's hands that's not going to play for me this year?
No, I'd rather go in the portal where there's 3,000 kids this year.
It was 3,000?
It was 3,000. Division I, Division II portal, there's close to 3,000 kids where, you know, I'll hop in the portal and I, you know, I can call this coach. So why do you think this kid is leaving? Oh, coach, man, he does this, he does that. He can't do this, he can't do that. But he passed all his classes. He made it through a college season, right? He might have had a great year. So he wasn't projected to average 15 points. And he averaged 15 points at UTSA. Now UT's calling him. You average 15 there. We need you to average 7, but we're going to give you $300,000 more.
I'm gone.
But since you did it on a Division I level, I'll take your 10, 12 points on a D1 over a 50-point score in high school.
That's crazy. I mean, it makes sense, but it's crazy where we are.
Yeah, it's almost to the point where Deion said it best, man. I'm gonna get this used car, right? Mm-hmm. It's been through a rainstorm. It's been through a snowstorm. Right. You know, held and hit it, and it's still running. And I know what it's going to do. I get this brand new Ferrari that's never been on some ice. I have no clue what's going to happen, right? And then I'm risking $7 million a year on this 18-year-old, right?
Just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
So we'll never see another Fab Five?
Man, if the McDonald's All-American
if they all decide to go to the same school,
yes, but just I don't see that, you know. And even with the Fab Five, man, they all weren't, you know, McDonald's All-American guys. You know what I mean? They were local Detroit kids. Chicago's right there by Michigan.
Right.
And then we got lucky with the 2 Texas kids. But for most part, man, that was, we haven't seen it since then.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's going to be tough.
Well, if I'm a parent and I'm watching this, take me through a day for my son at Strength and Motion. I decided to come to Strength and take our talents to Strength and Motion. How does, give me a day in the life of a Strength and Motion athlete.
So let's say our preseason.
Let's go preseason. That's fine.
Preseason, man. We started about 5:30 in the morning.
5:30?
5:30 we start. So you got to be there 4:45 because when we start, you're warm already. It's not get warm at 5:30.
So at 5 o'clock you late, even though we starting at 5:30?
Yeah. I make $7 million. You know what I mean? Like that's the mindset
right.
We want them to understand. Like this isn't for play. You know, we're
getting you ready for how it's going to be.
For how it's going to be.
So we're at the gym at 4:45 getting loose.
4:45 getting loose, stretching. You need to see the trainer. You need to get taped. You need to do what you need to do to get prepared. Let's say it's a Monday. We're going to do conditioning. We have the indoor track. We'll run for an hour. If it's sprints.
Hey. What? We running for an hour, coach?
We running for an hour. That's
we're gonna be in shape.
Yeah, the best shape of your life. You know, for us, our guards have to run a mile 5:40. Our bigs have to run a mile in 6.
So everybody got to be under 6 before I even let you see a leather. Before I let you see a basketball.
Before we put you in front of a coach. No, you're gonna get to play.
Okay.
But before we put you in front of a coach, you have to be able to run a mile in this amount of time.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay.
Hey, man,
okay, we running for an hour. That's fair. Hey, I asked you to take me through the day. This is what we doing. Okay, so we running for an hour.
Okay, boom. Done running. We'll have probably 30-minute break. We have food there. We want them continuously eating protein bars, protein shakes. You know, one of our goals is to put 10 to 15 pounds on them. Wow.
That's a part of getting you ready.
All this, getting you ready. You know, the eye test, you know. Here in San Antonio, we have 6'4" centers. Nowhere on TV do you see a 6'4" center.
That's not Charles Barkley.
No.
We're not doing that. That's over with.
That's over with. So we'll have a break. Then we'll have individuals and weights. So let's say all the guards will go to the court. We'll do their individuals for an hour and 15 while they're on the court. The bigs will be in the weight room. Hour and 15. We'll get done. We'll eat again. You know, we have another 30, 45-minute break. We'll eat, it's not a meal, but beef jerky. We have croissants, fruit.
Yeah, fuel in the body.
Fuel.
Because we got to replenish everything y'all putting
every
out,
time
right?
we work out, we want to make sure we're putting it back. Then they'll switch.
Guards to the weight room, bigs to the court.
Another hour 15, another 30-minute break when we're done. And then we'll have a team practice. Let's say Monday, it's offense. So we'll put in 1 or 2 sets. And we'll go over for an hour together. Then around 12:30, we have all our alumni come in. We have some guys that play overseas, some guys who played in the program who are just too lazy to get up in the morning. They just want to come hoop. Coach, man, I did that, man.
I paid those dues. Yeah.
I'm going to come support.
Let me know when it's time to hoop.
Yeah. So they'll come and we'll play until they don't play hard. We'll go to lunch. They'll get, 3 or 4 hours, get off their feet, relax, and we come back at night and shoot 500. We have a routine we try to do every night. So when the guys come in, we want to shoot 40,000 jump shots before we put them in front of a coach. So we try to do we do 500 a day for almost 3 months.
500 a day. We're not talking about Saturdays and Sundays, are we?
No, we work out on Saturday mornings.
Morning.
Yeah, we do CrossFit Saturday mornings for 2 hours, and then we want them to do nothing but recover.
Sunday,
Saturday,
let the body
Sunday.
recover.
Yeah, let the body recover. But yeah, we shoot it every day. Shooting is a premium right now. If you can't shoot the ball, it's hard to find a spot.
I don't care if you're 6'10" or you 6'1".
You got to be able to shoot the ball. So that's just a normal day, man. And the separation part of it is how consistent can you be doing the same routine every day, right?
You kind of, I don't want to say you weeding out because y'all are there to help them, but
no, we're weeding them out.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't want to be me. Yes,
weeding them out, man. It's
because it's not for everybody.
Not for everybody, man. It's like we were kind of speaking before we got on the camera. You have to be elite. You know what I mean? Whatever level it is, D3 is elite. You're one of the best players in the world to play college basketball, right? And so in my dream, I'm just hitting that game winner and the crowd is going crazy. Or I'm hitting that game winner and it's going completely silent. But I didn't wake up at 5:30 in the morning to lift weights in my dream. I was asleep. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have study hall for 2 hours. I didn't have shooting. I didn't have film. I didn't have stretching. You don't have that in the dream. And so it's easy to say, man, I want this. I want to play on this level. I want da-da-da. But in the background to get to that point, it's treacherous. It's painful. Your body hurts.
And you don't feel like doing it most days.
No way. But there's a separation. LeBron, Steph, and all the greats, they'll give you a snippet of what they're doing on Instagram. They'll give you a minute. They're going to show you, I made 33s in a row. Or I made 8, Steph. I made 100 in a row.
Right.
They didn't show the 9 hours before that till he got to that, you know what I mean?
To that point.
And so we're trying to show these young men, it's tough, man. You have to sacrifice. You have to be mentally tough, but the reward is so great.
Oh man, it's amazing. It's amazing because again, every time the Final Four comes around, and that's when this became about. It's like I'm watching them because I didn't play college sports. And I'm like, that's something you can never take from them.
No.
And I'm almost 50 still talking about my little high school highlights. So I can only imagine, you know what I mean, if I got to actually play on a college basketball court. But if someone's interested in, putting their son in post-grad school with strength and motion, what's the best way to get in contact with y'all? How does that work?
So snmotion.com.
Or do y'all only recruit?
No, so we talked about this before, but I kind of say it again. Man, we started this program for kids in San Antonio. This is how it started. Myself and G, and being overseas, we were bringing kids every summer to play AAU. Everybody wants to come to America. Everybody wants an opportunity to play in America. So we were bringing kids all the time, put them in different situations, and then they were having success, right? So the training is kind of where we started. But now it got to the point where, when we were in high school, San Antonio was really bubbling, right? And then it had a little lapse.
Had a little layoff there. Yeah.
And then it started bubbling again, layoff, bubbling again, layoff. And then, but overall, Houston and Dallas hasn't changed, right? It's been steady.
Booming.
It's steady, going. And so the biggest difference was the height, right? So when we started the program, our goal was we're going to get all international big men.
Okay.
All international bigs to 6'6" wings, and then all San Antonio guards. Where we have the talent here in San Antonio. It's just they don't get to play with the bigs, right? And so that's how it initially started. We would bring in bigs and put them with the San Antonio kids to help them get what they needed. And then it just took off. You know, it's just really taken off, man, where it's disappointing to me because the goal was for San Antonio kids, but we're not getting the same response from San Antonio kids that we're getting from kids in Houston. We got kids coming from Houston wanting to come to San Antonio. We got kids from Dallas wanting to come to San Antonio.
Really?
Kids from all over the world trying to be a part of our program because of our success rate. You know, it's
why not? What do you think the biggest roadblock is for why San Antonio hasn't quite grasped it, and it's been almost going on 9 years?
Myself and the whole company, man, we are terrible at social media.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, man, we are just, like I said, man, we kind of just move in silence, man. We don't like to toot our own horn. We don't like to put.
And I told you and G that when I met with y'all, I was like, y'all want to do this because y'all really be out the way.
Yeah, man. But
if you have to though.
Yeah, we have to.
It's a necessary evil.
Yeah, we have to, man. And so I think that's one part of it.
But Houston and Dallas, you ain't doing it, and they're responding.
Okay, so the majority of our games we have to go to Houston and Dallas.
Got you.
So they're seeing the product of what we're doing
up close and personal.
Yes, and we're not really playing many games here in San Antonio. No college coaches are coming, right? And so marketing, our social media presence, where that's why we're sitting here, and I greatly appreciate this.
I'm honored to do it.
And then secondly, man, these San Antonio kids, man, the ones that leave and go to Houston and Dallas, that's how they're seeing their success. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of the young men that are getting their opportunities, you know, they're having to go to Dallas and play on a Dallas shoe team, or they have to go to Houston and play on a Houston shoe team in the summer, or they have to leave their senior year and go to Phoenix or Mount Vert, all these other places where I can understand them saying like, man, I've been here my whole life. What can they do for me that everyone else that told me I was great didn't do nothing?
Makes sense.
And now I'm at this point where I got to leave. And so I think that's a kind of holding us back as well. But like now, man, it's the traditional way. It's so hard, man. You have to have a machine behind you. You have to have people that have real connections. And then you have to play on real stages. You know, you have to have those matchups where they can see if you're, I don't want to call someone a no name, but if I don't know your name and you're playing against this kid and everyone knows his name and you handle your business,
holding your own.
Now I got to find out who you are, right? And that's what we're giving to these young men. But like I said, our marketing, horrible. You know what I mean? We're old school, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, y'all hoopers. Y'all you just a hooper.
Like, I'm not gonna talk about it, but when we play, you're gonna feel it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and rah you and I'm in the gym working. Yeah. No, we don't do none of that. You know, when you play us, you'll know.
Right.
And that's kind of been our concept.
Speaking of that, the schedule. How did y'all get all these different schools and these different programs to say, yeah, you know what? We'll play y'all. And how many games is in a given season at Strength in Motion?
So we'll play close. We'll play close to 70 games. Including
in how many months?
So the actual play is from October to March. Like I said, we start in late June, early July, and we'll play and some fall things here or there. But the meat and potatoes is October really till March, a normal basketball season. And it's just needed, man. We're blessed to be here in Texas where there's so many JUCOs. It's one of the, if not the strongest junior college league in the country. Trinity Valley won their national championship this year.
And,
you know what that is.
Rudy J. University. They're getting some work.
They're getting, some lower level guys are going to get some time. We can work on some things. But also on the flip side of it, the Rudy J. University, they're able to showcase their talents. They're able to see what it's like to go to UT and play in front of 100,000 people. Yeah. So it's kind of a win-win situation for everyone. The difference with us, we don't lose eligibility. Right?
You got the 365.
We got that 365 where we can get in here. We're playing these teams. These coaches are watching our kids play against kids they have on scholarships. Whoever is looking at so-and-so for this school sees us, the no name again, man, he's handling his business against him. And I'm recruiting him to come play for me next year. I need to see what this kid is doing.
And that's what y'all's goal is.
And that's what the goal is.
You know what I love about that? And we'll almost about to wrap it up. But what I love about that is I know in every program across the country, not just yours, there's a couple kids, I'll just say it, think they're better than they are.
Yeah.
And then y'all go to this, he probably telling you, telling G, telling everybody that listen, man, I'm D1, blah, 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 D1. And y'all go play this JUCO school and he gets worked.
Yeah.
And then you play like, that's why I'm on you every day.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's why I'm pushing you. So that's what I love about that schedule. Because, I'm not saying you want to embarrass a kid, but you just got to let them know, like, look, there's levels. There's still levels to it, and there's still a level that you haven't gotten to, and that's why we're on y'all the way we're on y'all.
Yeah. It makes it a lot easier. Once every
once
year,
you feel it.
Yeah.
Once you feel that, yeah.
Every year we lose at least one game by 50, right? And I tell them every preseason, hey, man, 8 years running, we've lost by 50. Coach, it ain't going to be us. We're going to be the first team that don't do it. And then it happens. Oh, now I understand. You really meant touch the line on every sprint.
Yeah.
Why am I leaving the gym early? You know what I mean? Why am I not getting my extra shot?
Why you ain't here first?
Why are you here, first to leave? When we say huddle, you're running out. Or we saying, strength and motion. You're running out of the gym instead of staying, getting your free throws and all those different things. And so it's very eye-opening, man. Like I said, man, being a great San Antonio player, man, is awesome. It's awesome for San Antonio, man, but we're really competing in a global game now. Them
international kids hungry and they playing.
They're playing, man, and their school system is set up for them to chase their dream while still getting their schooling done. Our school system is set up, you're going to get your school done, and then you make time for your dream. If that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they're not in class 8 hours a day. If they're going 4, that's a lot.
Yeah, them academies and stuff, especially I just go on the soccer side of things. That's why we're so behind, and that's getting off topic. But our soccer kids are at UNC doing pre-calculus and Messi's on the pitch.
All day.
You know what I mean? So
all
that's
day.
why we'll never catch up in certain things. But I'm just relating the two.
Yeah. But like, I don't want it to seem like we're saying that education is not.
No.
Education is the most important thing.
Right, of course.
But generational wealth in college now. It's not you just get, you're debt free and then now you're starting off life. You have your degree and you go into your workplace, which in goal, if you play basketball your whole life, you still have to do something after.
For sure.
But right now, man, you can go in and come out, let's say $500,000 in your bank account.
And even if you're not going to pros, now you got some money for a startup or whatever it is you want to do.
Now you can really apply what you learned for yourself.
Right.
And I'm not knocking anyone who has a job, but it's a total different monster when you're making someone else money and then they're telling you your value.
Right.
Over I'm going to work and however much money I make is my money,
Absolutely.
And starting off $500,000 and invested in your own self. It's amazing. It's amazing.
And last thing, you and G told me y'all in December, y'all taking taking the fellas to Spain for a tournament?
We're going to Spain, man. We try to go somewhere every year. So, on another episode, G will be on here. He runs the European side or the international side of what we do. And so we've been to Hungary.
Y'all
France,
listening? You listening? You get a chance to go to some places that you may never go to.
Yeah, Poland, Tenerife, Estonia. Like these guys have been able to see, some amazing things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's all because of a basketball. Something they would do for free.
And this year is Spain.
This year is Spain, man. One of the biggest tournaments in Europe.
I'm trying to go.
Hey, you're always welcome.
I'm always trying to go.
We're gonna have a show from there.
Oh yeah. We're gonna have. You heard that, Buki? You down to go to Spain?
Yeah, I'm down. I'm Gus. I'll reconnect my roots.
Again, we're just getting started. I just wanted to get Mark introduced. I wanted to let y'all know what Strength in Motion is. The show is called In Motion. We're going to stay consistent with it. Mark, myself, and G, we've already discussed this. We're going to stay consistent with it. We're going to keep telling people. We're going to have some of the kids in here. We're going to have some of the coaches in here. The kids, that to me, the best thing about anything is a testimony. And you can't hear it any better than from the kids that have actually been through it.
Yeah.
And then obviously, so Mark and G, so show is called In Motion. It's on Love Your Heart TV. We're going to post it a little bit later today. Mark, appreciate your time. I appreciate you, man. Y'all see the shirt. Y'all see the hat. Y'all see the merch. Mark Reed, Rudy J, In Motion. See y'all next time.